You know that feeling, right? You're just chatting or maybe watching comedy. Something happens and bam, it just clicks.
Hmm.
That little spark, maybe a surprise, and then you laugh. Could be a chuckle, could be, really letting loose.
Yeah, totally.
It feels so effortless,
Mm.
so in the moment. But do we ever stop and think, what's actually like happening in our brains right then? How does that funny feeling even get made?
It seems simple, doesn't it?
Exactly. So today we're diving deep into that very question. We're using insights from excerpts from Science and Humor.
Hmm.
And our goal here is to give you a kind of shortcut to understanding how your brain actually processes humor. It's pretty complex stuff.
It really is.
We want to peel back the layers on, the neurology behind a good laugh. What's the sophisticated stuff happening beneath what just feels like instinct?
And that's what's so fascinating, isn't it? Something that feels so easy, just finding something funny, is actually incredibly complex under the hood. It's not just hearing a punchline and reacting. Humor is, well, it's deeply human. It pulls in our thinking, our emotions, even how we interact socially. It's about how we see things, interpret them, how we feel about them, our ability to think abstractly. It's this really intricate dance in the brain.
A neurological dance. I like that.
Yeah, and it often happens in just milliseconds, to give you that feeling of amusement, maybe that laugh.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Mm.
How your brain actually processes humor.
Hmm.
That phrase, it sounds very specific, like a sequence, maybe, a program running.
Hmm.
But like you said, humor feels so spontaneous.
Uh-huh.
So from a science perspective, what do we actually mean by processing humor? Is it just one thing firing off?
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's definitely not like flipping a single switch.
Okay.
Think of it more like a complex orchestra. You've got different brain regions, like different sections of the orchestra, all playing their specific parts together.
Right, contributing to the whole piece.
Exactly. It's a dynamic, multi-stage operation. It starts when your brain takes in some kind of stimulus, maybe a joke, a funny picture, even just a social situation.
Okay.
Then it has to quickly interpret that, right? It compares it against everything it already knows, its expectations.
Yeah.
And then it generates that specific response of amusement, laughter.
So a whole journey, input to output.
A very comprehensive journey, yeah. Engaging lots of interconnected systems all at once.
A symphony, like you said. So if it's multi-stage, can we actually break down the steps? Like conceptually, what's the journey look like for a funny thought going through the brain?
We definitely can, conceptually, yeah. The source material kind of breaks down the super fast process into a few key stages.
Okay, what's first?
So the first foundational stage is basically detecting incongruity.
Incongruity, like
Yes.
something unexpected.
Exactly. The brain's first job is to spot something that doesn't fit, a mismatch, something that deviates from what you were expecting to happen. Imagine you have this mental script for how things should go, and suddenly, whoop, there's a twist. It breaks the pattern.
Okay.
And this is mainly a cognitive thing, almost like automatic pattern recognition. Your brain's just flagging, hey, this is a bit odd, this doesn't quite line up.
Like a little alert.
Precisely, a little internal alert. And it's critical. Without spotting that incongruity, the whole humor process doesn't even start.
So brain's alarm goes off. Wait a sec, something's weird here. But what if it just stays weird? What if the brain can't make sense of it? Is that still funny or just confusing?
That's a fantastic question because that leads right into the second stage, resolution and cognitive shift. And this part is absolutely key.
Okay.
If the brain only spots the incongruity but can't figure it out, well, that's exactly when you get confusion or maybe unease, frustration.
Right.
Definitely not amusement.
Right. I felt that. A joke just leaves you hanging.
Exactly. So after detecting the mismatch, the brain works actively to resolve it, to kind of bridge the gap between what it expected and what actually happened.
How does it do that?
Often it involves this sudden aha moment, a quick reframing of the information, where the thing that seemed weird or unexpected suddenly makes sense, but in a new, surprising, maybe playful way.
The punchline effect.
That's the classic example. Your brain reorganizes the info, and what seems like nonsense suddenly clicks into a clever, meaningful pattern.
Like solving a mini puzzle.
Kind of. Think about a riddle. The setup gives you the incongruity, the confusion, but the answer, the resolution, it snaps it all into place, turns the confusion into insight, and usually a smile.
So you need that cognitive flexibility, that mental shift.
You absolutely do. The ability to switch perspectives quickly is crucial.
Okay, so if you successfully resolve it, that feels good. It's almost like the brain gets a little reward for figuring it out. Is that where the feeling of amusement comes from? The pleasure bit?
You got it. That brings us perfectly to stage 3, the emotional response and reward.
Uh-huh.
Once you've spotted the incongruity and successfully resolved it with that cognitive shift, then the brain triggers this distinct positive emotional feeling.
The funniness.
The funniness, the amusement, the pleasure, the joy. And this isn't just, a vague feeling. It's deeply rooted in our brain chemistry.
Neurochemistry. Like dopamine.
Exactly like dopamine. This positive feeling often comes with activation of the brain's reward pathways. We're talking the mesolimbic pathway, a really key part of our reward system.
Okay.
Dopamine plays a huge role there. So it's not just feeling pleasure, it's also about reinforcement, motivation.
So the brain saying, hey, that was good. Do that again.
Pretty much. This
Uh-oh.
figuring out the weird thing, this cognitive flexibility, that's valuable. It reinforces seeking out novelty, creative thinking.
Wow. So even a simple joke is tapping into something quite fundamental.
Absolutely. This quick reward for solving cognitive puzzles, even silly ones, might explain why we're naturally curious, why we seek out new things. Our brains are literally wired to reward us for understanding the unexpected.
I mean, that's really cool. This dance between the thinking part and the feeling, rewarding part,
Mm.
it really shows how humor connects cognition and emotion.
Mhm.
So when the brain's going through these stages, detect, resolve, reward, what specific parts are lighting up?
Hmm.
Can we talk a bit about the brain's internal map for this?
Sure, conceptually, it's definitely a network, not just one spot. For that initial detection of incongruity, the prefrontal cortex is a big player.
The front part, the thinking cap.
Yeah, our executive control center. Planning, decision-making, spotting errors. It's like the conductor noticing something's offbeat in the orchestra. It flags the deviation.
Okay. Then the resolution.
For the quick resolution and cognitive shift, regions like the anterior cingulate cortex often get involved. It helps with conflict monitoring, reframing things, and parts of the temporal lobe, too, especially for understanding language, semantics.
Making sense of it all.
Right, that's where the brain works to connect the dots in that new, surprising way, forming the coherent, funny interpretation.
And finally, the reward, the good feeling.
That's where the limbic system really comes alive, especially structures like the nucleus accumbens, central to reward, and the amygdala for the emotional processing side.
Where the dopamine gets released.
That's the hub, yeah. Cementing that feeling of pleasure, often leading to the physical act of laughing. So it's this remarkably coordinated effort, lots of specialized areas working together super fast.
Wow. Okay, so this whole complex network is humming along when we find something funny. Which brings up a big question. What does this all mean for us, for the listener in daily life?
Right.
Does understanding these stages help explain why, say, my sense of humor is different from yours? Or even just why we seem to crave funny stuff so much? Because we really do.
It absolutely does. And that gets into some really important implications. First, subjectivity.
Why some jokes land and others don't.
Exactly. Think about it. Our individual cognitive styles, how fast we spot that mismatch, how we resolve it, that's all shaped by our unique life experiences, our culture, even our mood at the moment.
So our personal context defines what's normal or unexpected for us.
Precisely. Your mental model is different from mine. So a joke that hits perfectly for you might just sail over my head, or maybe I even find it off-putting.
Makes sense.
It really highlights the diversity of how we all think and experience the world.
Yeah, that's so true. We've all been there, right? The awkward silence after a joke bombs. So, okay, beyond individual differences, what about the bigger picture? You hinted humor isn't just for kicks, like social bonding.
Right.
How does that brain dance translate into connecting with people?
Oh, it's huge for bonding. Shared laughter. It's almost like this primal signal, a nonverbal way of saying we see the world similarly.
We're on the same page.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you both find the same thing funny, it implies you share similar expectations, similar ways of figuring out the incongruity. That shared aha moment creates this feeling of connection, even safety.
Is there a chemical basis for that too?
There can be, yeah. Shared laughter can trigger oxytocin release, sometimes called the bonding hormone. It literally strengthens social ties.
Wow.
And you see it everywhere. Studies show couples who laugh together often report being happier in their relationship. Even at work, humor can break down barriers, build trust, make teams feel more connected. It creates this psychological ease.
So it's not just fun, it's functional. Building bridges. What about stress relief? We always hear laughter is the best medicine. Is there science to that?
Oh, definitely. That saying holds a lot of water, scientifically speaking. Humor is a fantastic coping mechanism.
How so?
Well, physically, a good laugh gets your muscles going, increases heart rate, then leads to this relaxation phase where blood pressure can drop. Plus, it triggers endorphins.
Nature's painkillers.
And mood boosters, yeah. But it's also a powerful cognitive tool for stress. When you use humor, especially in tough times, it lets you reframe things.
See it from a different angle.
Exactly. That cognitive shift we talked about, finding the absurdity or the unexpected twist in a difficult situation, it gives you perspective. It can pull you out of a negative spiral, even briefly, and give you a little breathing room, maybe a sense of control.
It's like actively managing your emotions.
It really is. It helps build psychological resilience.
That makes a lot of sense. Shifting perspective is powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, one more link you mentioned. Creative problem solving. That one feels less obvious. How does laughing connect to creativity?
Yeah, it's a really compelling link. Think about what humor fundamentally involves: divergent thinking.
Thinking outside the box.
Right, flexibility, generating new ideas, that whole process, spotting incongruity, and then resolving it with that aha moment, that's a creative act.
You're making a new connection.
You're seeing connections between things that didn't seem related before.
Right.
That mental flexibility, that practice in reframing things is exactly what you need for creative problem solving.
Right.
Humor basically trains your brain to break out of rigid thinking, challenge assumptions, look for unexpected solutions. There are even studies showing that if people are exposed to humor before a task, they tend to do better on creative challenges.
So it's not just entertainment. It's tied to intelligence, innovation.
A fundamental aspect of how we think, adapt, and even thrive.
That is incredibly insightful. It really hammers home that humor isn't just some simple reaction. It's this sophisticated interplay, cognitive, emotional, social,
Sure.
all working constantly in our brains, shaping how we see things, connect even how we solve problems. It's kind of amazing, really. Shows the power of our minds.
It really does.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the big takeaway seems to be that humor is, well, it's serious business neurologically.
Yeah, you could say that.
It's not just a giggle. It's this complex multi-step process in the brain.
Right.
Detect the odd thing, figure it out cleverly, and then get that rewarding feeling.
Detect, resolve, reward incredibly fast.
Yeah, it really speaks to how intricate our brains are and how wired we are for things like joy and connection.
Absolutely. And, even understanding the science, the mechanics of how it works, it doesn't take away the magic, does it?
Not at all. If anything, it adds another layer.
Right. Knowing about that intricate dance inside just deepens the appreciation for that spontaneous laugh. It's this beautiful meeting point of our internal wiring and our external expression. It's just fundamentally human.
Couldn't agree more.
So maybe next time something strikes you as funny, a clever joke, something witty someone says, or just a plain silly moment, maybe take half a second.
Yeah.
Just consider that incredible, super fast symphony of thinking and feeling that just played out inside your head, completely unseen. Maybe you'll appreciate that aha moment, that simple laugh, just a little bit more, knowing the sophisticated journey it took to get there.